Welcome to The Deep Dive, the show where we slice through the information overload and extract the most compelling insights just for you.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're plunging into a concept that's, well, it's as ancient as myth and as current as tomorrow's headlines. The Vanishing Island.
hmm
What does it truly signify for a place? Whether it's, a tangible landmass slipping beneath the waves, a fantastical realm existing only in stories, or maybe a breathtaking natural wonder that appears and disappears with the ocean's breath.
It's an incredibly rich and multifaceted concept, isn't it? The idea of something simply ceasing to be, especially something as seemingly permanent as an island, it speaks directly to themes of impermanence, the raw, undeniable power of nature,
Right.
and perhaps most profoundly, the resilience and adaptability of the human spirit in the face of immense change.
Definitely.
So for this deep dive, we've curated a stack of sources. We've got scientific reports, ethnographic studies, even thrilling adventure novels and vivid travelogues to help us unpack the Vanishing Island through three very distinct yet interconnected lenses.
Three different angles on the same idea.
Exactly. Our mission is to provide you with a comprehensive, nuanced understanding of this phenomenon, revealing some surprising facts and offering profound insights you might not have considered.
Exactly. Consider this your express lane to becoming truly well-informed on a topic that touches on everything from the urgent realities of climate change and environmental justice to the escapism of thrilling adventures and even the allure of unique, fleeting travel destinations.
Mhm.
We're going to embark on a journey that begins with the stark, frankly heartbreaking reality of a disappearing community right here in the US.
A very real, very current situation.
Then we'll shift gears completely to explore a gripping fictional adventure crafted for young readers.
A bit lighter, but still fascinating.
And finally, we'll transport ourselves, virtually at least, to a stunning natural wonder in the Philippines that captivates thousands of tourists. So get ready, because this is going to be an absolutely captivating and, I think, thought-provoking ride.
Indeed. Each perspective offers unique lessons and highlights profoundly different aspects of what it means for an island to vanish. We'll explore the deep tragedy of permanent loss, the imaginative freedom found in fictional disappearance, and, well, the cyclical beauty of a natural process.
It allows us to reflect on our own relationship with change and the transient nature of existence, doesn't it?
Precisely.
Okay, let's unpack this first and perhaps most poignant example that truly grounds the concept of a vanishing island in a heart-wrenching reality. We're starting with Ile de Jean Charles,
Hmm.
a small, isolated island community nestled off the Louisiana coast, specifically in Terrebonne Parish. This isn't merely a news story. It's a stark, ongoing testament to the unfolding reality of climate displacement happening right now in our own backyard.
What's truly fascinating and deeply tragic about Ile de Jean Charles is the confluence of its rich historical depth with the shockingly rapid pace of its disappearance. For over 170 years, this island has been the ancestral home of the Biloxi Chitimacha Choctaw tribe. Imagine that, generation after generation living, building traditions, fishing, trapping, farming in one specific place,
Their whole world.
only to witness their entire world quite literally melt away beneath their feet.
And when we say melt away, we are absolutely not talking about some gradual, subtle change over centuries. The statistics are nothing short of astonishing.
They really are.
This island has lost a staggering 98% of its landmass since 1955. Just pause and let that sink in for a moment. 98%.
98%. It's almost unbelievable.
What was once a vibrant, sprawling area supporting a close-knit community and a distinct way of life has shrunk to a mere quarter-mile-wide sliver today. It's almost incomprehensible, the speed and scale of that loss.
It serves as a vivid and urgent illustration of how quickly environmental degradation, especially when compounded by multiple factors, can escalate. And the human toll mirrors this physical decline. We've seen the island's population dwindle dramatically from around 400 people just a few decades ago.
Which wasn't huge to begin with, but still a community.
Exactly. Down to approximately 85 in more recent years, and as of even the very latest reports, only about 30 residents remain.
Just 30. Wow.
This isn't just a statistical decline. It's a painful, forced exodus, highlighting the urgency and the immense psychological and practical pressures on those who have chosen, or maybe been forced, to remain.
So, what exactly is orchestrating this alarming disappearance? It's clearly not a single culprit, but rather a complex, interwoven tapestry of factors, each exacerbating the others.
That's like,
At the forefront, undoubtedly, are global climate trends, specifically rising sea levels. The very waters that once sustained and nourished this community are now slowly, yet relentlessly, submerging vast portions of its precious land.
and this isn't an isolated phenomenon affecting only Isle de Jean Charles. You know, as the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, frequently points out, over 50% of the U.S. population lives in coastal counties.
Half the population.
That statistic alone underscores the broader vulnerability that many communities share. What's happening in Louisiana isn't just a local tragedy. It's a powerful, tangible case study for what countless other coastal communities worldwide might eventually face.
Which makes it absolutely crucial for us to understand these dynamics.
Absolutely.
Beyond these overarching global climate trends, there's a deeply significant and historically rooted local contributor to the island's plight: the profound impact of the oil and gas industry.
Yeah.
Going all the way back to the 1930s, oil companies began carving an intricate network of canals directly through the delicate marklands surrounding Ile de Jean Charles.
Right.
Now, you might be wondering, how does a canal, ostensibly just a waterway, make an entire island disappear?
It seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? But these canals were initially dug to provide convenient access for oil rigs and pipelines, and they unleashed a cascade of devastating, albeit perhaps unintended, consequences.
What kind of consequences?
Well, they fundamentally altered the hydrology of the area. They introduced corrosive saltwater into what was once a thriving freshwater or brackish marsh ecosystem.
Okay, so salt water getting into freshwater areas.
Precisely. This sudden, sustained influx of saltwater led to severe erosion of the fragile soil and, critically, caused the widespread death of native plant life.
The plants died off.
Yes, and these plants, with their dense, intricate root systems, are absolutely vital. They act like natural anchors, holding the marshland together, building up the soil over time.
Like the glue holding it all together.
Exactly. When these foundational plants die, the land becomes catastrophically destabilized. What was once solid, vibrant ground transforms into open, unrecoverable water. It's an ecological domino effect.
It's truly like pulling the foundational threads out of a finely woven fabric. Once those stabilizing plants are gone, the entire intricate ecosystem of the marsh just unravels. And if that weren't enough, we also have to consider human interventions much further upriver. Specifically, the network of dikes and dams constructed along the mighty Mississippi River.
Exactly. Historically, the Mississippi River would naturally overflow its banks during flood seasons, depositing vast quantities of silt and sediment across its delta.
Which included islands like Isle de Jean Charles.
Right, it replenished them. This natural cyclical process was essential. It literally built up the land over time, counteracting the natural subsidence and erosion that occurs in deltas.
Nature's own repair mechanism.
Precisely. But with these extensive dikes and dams, that vital, natural flow of silt is blocked. This means the island no longer receives the critical sediment it needs to counteract the ongoing erosion and subsidence.
So it's basically starved of its natural defenses.
Effectively, yes, accelerating its disappearance.
And then, on top of all these long-term environmental and human-made pressures, you layer the increasing intensity and frequency of severe storms.
Yes, the accelerator.
We're in the Atlantic hurricane season, which typically rages from June to November, bringing with it ever more frequent and powerful storms. We saw the stark impact of this with Hurricane Isaac back in 2012.
A devastating storm for the island.
It didn't just cause widespread damage, it fundamentally shifted the land itself. After a storm of that magnitude, rebuilding becomes a near impossibility because the land itself is simply gone, washed away, or deeply submerged.
These increasingly severe weather events act as accelerants, pushing the community past a tipping point. A family might try to rebuild after one storm, but if the underlying land is continuously disappearing and the sea levels are relentlessly rising,
Each storm just takes more.
each subsequent storm washes away more than just structures. It washes away precious memories, essential infrastructure, and crucially, the very hope and rationale for returning. The idea of home becomes a vanishing point on a receding horizon.
This brings us to perhaps the most heartbreaking aspect of this story: the profound human and cultural impact. For the Biloxi Chickamauga Choctaw tribe, Losing Ile de Jean Charles isn't just about losing houses or property deeds. It's about the erosion of their very core identity.
It's so much deeper than property.
Their traditional practices, the intricate knowledge of oyster fishing passed down through generations, the seasonal rhythm of trapping, the community-sustaining practice of farming on fertile ground were all intrinsically tied to this specific land. This island wasn't just land. It was a living, breathing extension of their cultural heritage, their history, and their collective soul.
The loss of this land translates directly into an irreplaceable loss of cultural practice and connection. Imagine how intrinsically linked your daily life, your history, your spiritual beliefs, and your community are to the physical landscape around you.
It's hard to even conceive of it disappearing.
When that landscape changes so drastically, when the very ground beneath your feet vanishes, it's not merely a physical displacement. It's a deep, agonizing cultural wound that impacts language, traditional knowledge, the ability to pass on ancestral ways of life to future generations.
The land itself is like a library of their heritage.
That's a great way to put it, and it's slowly being submerged.
We hear incredibly poignant memories from people like Wenceslas Billiot, an 88-year-old tribal elder featured prominently in discussions about the island.
A powerful voice.
He recounts a time when the island was so profoundly different, a fertile place that easily supported herds of cattle and vibrant vegetable gardens, feeding the community. Now, that same land is perpetually waterlogged.
A stark and painful contrast.
He mentioned riding horses across land that is now open water. Can you imagine? It highlights the immense, almost unbelievable transformation he has witnessed in his lifetime.
His memories aren't just a sentimental reflection. They are a vital testament to what was once possible, to a thriving way of life that has been tragically lost within a single generation.
Right.
And this loss inflicts an immense emotional and psychological toll. Residents like Edison Dardar, whose moving story is also highlighted in the documentary on the island.
Yes, I saw that mentioned.
They describe the agony of witnessing cherished community landmarks disappear, churches where families worship for generations, grocery stores that were vital social hubs, community centers, all gone.
The fabric of the community just dissolves.
And after every devastating storm, there's that agonizing uncertainty, that unbearable question. Can we go home? Will there even be a home, a community to return to?
The constant cycle of displacement and uncertainty must just chip away at their mental well-being and sense of belonging. And it's an unbearable psychological burden, really, a form of chronic grief.
Absolutely. And this population decline isn't just a number on a census report. It creates devastating ripple effects that unravel the very fabric of the community. When homes are systematically destroyed and traditional livelihoods become utterly unsustainable, because you can't fish for oysters if the oyster beds are gone, or farm if the land is perpetually submerged, people are left with no choice but to leave.
Jobs are lost.
Jobs are lost, multi-generational connections are severed, and the cohesive social structure built over centuries begins to fray beyond repair. Children grow up without the deep ancestral connection to the land that their parents and grandparents knew.
That's a crucial, often overlooked point when discussing climate migration, isn't it? It's far more complex than simply relocating from point A to point B.
Exactly. It's a traumatic, often involuntary process of losing an entire way of life, severing deeply ingrained generational ties to a specific place, and being forced to reconstruct not just physical homes, but identity, social networks, community, often in an unfamiliar and sometimes unwelcoming new setting.
It raises profound questions about collective adaptation, governmental responsibility, and the human right to cultural preservation in the face of environmental upheaval.
Very much so.
In response to this seemingly inevitable submersion, the U.S. government has initiated a significant resettlement program. This makes Ile de Jean Charles a landmark case, right?
It really is. One of the very first communities in the lower 48 states to receive dedicated federal funding, specifically for climate-induced relocation. We're talking about a substantial $52 million project aimed at moving the remaining residents to safer, higher ground away from the encroaching tides.
$52 million, that's significant.
While this federal funding is a critical acknowledgement of a severe problem, it also underscores the immense emotional and practical conflict at play.
How so?
Despite the dire reality, some residents are only now reluctantly accepting that their ancestral island may be completely gone within the next 50 years. Yet, for tribal elders like Wenceslas Billiot and his wife Denise Shanakin, the thought of leaving their lifelong home,
The place where their ancestors lived and are buried.
exactly, that thought is deeply agonizing. They feel an almost spiritual pull to stay, even as the waters rise.
You can absolutely understand that deep-seated attachment. It's not just a house. It's generations of memories, identity, shared history.
Mhm.
In fact, the tribe actually voted against previous relocation efforts not once, but twice before, first in 2002 and again in 2009.
That truly speaks volumes, doesn't it? It highlights the profound, almost unbreakable bond they have with their ancestral land, even as it literally slips away beneath their feet. It's a testament to the strength of their connection to place.
And this unfolding situation serves as an incredibly potent learning opportunity.
Absolutely, which is precisely why resources like the documentary Ile de Jean Charles by Emmanuel Vaughan Lee are so vital. It's been featured by esteemed educational platforms like the Global Oneness Project and PBS Learning Media.
So it's being used as a teaching tool.
Yes, the film isn't just a narrative recounting of events. It's a powerful educational tool that brings the island's plight to a wider audience through the intimate, empathetic lens of its residents. It allows us, the viewers, to step into their shoes, even briefly.
It truly forces you to confront the gravity of the situation. The film offers powerful, thought-provoking reflection prompts, inviting viewers to imagine what it would genuinely feel like
Puts you right there.
to live in a place where, with chilling certainty that your home might not survive the next big storm or that the very ground beneath it could disappear. It compels you to consider the real world, deeply personal stakes of climate change in a way that mere statistics cannot.
Absolutely. Understanding the specifics of what has transpired at Ile de Jean Charles, from the natural geological processes to the human-made exacerbating factors like the oil canals and river diversions, encourages critical thinking
About what specifically?
about broader environmental policy, sustainable land management, and our collective responsibility to adapt and support communities on the front lines of climate change. This case study teaches us that climate displacement isn't some future possibility. It's a present reality with profound human costs.
So the key insight here is
The insight here is clear. Climate displacement isn't merely about physical relocation. It's a forced amputation of cultural identity. It demands that adaptation strategies prioritize holistic community rebuilding, not just rehousing.
okay. Wow. From the harsh, compelling reality of Ile de Jean Charles, which grounds us in the profound, often irreversible loss caused by our changing world, let's pivot to something entirely different.
A complete shift.
A vanishing island born purely from the boundless realm of imagination.
We're diving now into the fantastical world of fiction, specifically The Vanishing Island, a captivating middle-grade novel by Barry Wolverton.
Right. This book, first published in 2015, kicks off the Chronicles of the Black Tulip series. It's a wonderful example of how the concept of a vanishing island can be used as a springboard for thrilling adventure, profound self-discovery, and, well, imaginative escape.
It whisks us back in time, doesn't
It
it?
does. Back to 1599, firmly within the Age of Discovery, setting its fictional stage in a town called Map, nestled on the evocative coast of Britannia. The scene is perfectly set. Imagine a time when world maps were still largely incomplete, filled with vast, unexplored white spaces, when uncharted territories beckoned with tantalizing mystery and exhilarating danger.
Prime time for adventure stories.
Our protagonist is 12-year-old Bren Owen, the son of a cartographer. Like so many kids, Bren is consumed by dreams of a life far grander and more adventurous than his mundane existence. He's yearning for the kind of epic quests and discoveries he devours in books.
And his entry into adventure is, shall we say, less than heroic.
Definitely not glamorous.
After numerous attempts to run away from his unexciting life, he's actually punished with a grim job, cleaning the town's unsavory communal facilities, vomitorium, as they rather colorfully and perhaps euphemistically called some of these less glamorous public spaces back then.
Not the swashbuckling beginning you'd expect for a future explorer, but it certainly grounds him in a relatable reality.
It's a wonderfully unglamorous start, isn't it?
Right.
But it's precisely in this mundane, even unpleasant setting that the catalyst for his adventure ignites.
The inciting incident.
While on duty, Bran encounters a dying sailor. In a truly classic adventure trope, this mysterious mariner, with his last breath, bestows upon Bren a cryptic gift containing a hidden message.
Of course, the hidden message.
And just like that, our young protagonist is thrust, quite unexpectedly, into a perilous quest for a fabled lost treasure. The legend behind this treasure. It's inextricably tied to an ancient Chinese legend about an island that literally vanished from all maps.
Okay, so we have the reluctant hero, the dying message, the lost treasure, the vanished island, all the classic elements.
What's truly compelling here is how quickly the narrative hooks the reader. Not just with the promise of a grand mystery, but with the immediate sense of urgency and danger. Bren's journey is far from easy. It's fraught with peril.
He doesn't just walk onto a ship.
Not at all. He must cross vast, treacherous oceans, and along the way he forms an unlikely alliance with a formidable Dutch admiral and his truly unusual companion, a quick-witted, resourceful girl known only as Mouse.
Mouse. Interesting character name.
These partnerships are absolutely key, as Bren faces a gauntlet of challenges that relentlessly test his courage, his cleverness, and his resourcefulness at every turn, forcing him to grow far beyond his years. The story really deepens into a rich tapestry of intrigue and suspense.
It sounds like a fantastic blend of thrilling high seas adventure and ancient cultural folklore. The story really delves into those universal themes of fortune and danger, courage in the face of the unknown, and the timeless process of coming of age. It pushes Bren to discover his own inner strength and truly grow into himself. Our sources note it has a slightly darker, more nuanced tone, which perhaps makes it more suitable for older children, adding depth beyond typical middle-grade fare.
That's an important distinction for potential readers, definitely. While The Vanishing Island is categorized as a middle-grade novel, its depth of themes and occasional darker elements, including references to death and complex moral choices, mean it resonates most strongly with fast and thoughtful readers aged, say, 10 to 13.
Okay, so upper middle grade.
Exactly. It's particularly recommended for those who enjoy series like Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson, which also skillfully blends mythology, adventure, and coming-of-age narratives.
And speaking of themes, beyond the obvious qualities of courage and curiosity that Bren embodies throughout his quest, the novel truly hones in on that deep, almost primal human desire for adventure and self-discovery.
Right. Who among us hasn't at some point dreamed of uncovering a hidden treasure, charting a course to an unknown land, or finding their true purpose amidst extraordinary circumstances? The book taps into that universal yearning.
It taps into a fundamental human yearning to explore the limits of one's own capabilities. What about the writing itself?
From a literary perspective, reviewers widely praise the book's engaging narrative and its incredibly vivid, almost cinematic descriptions. There's a particular quote cited that truly exemplifies this descriptive power. The muscles in Otto's face writhe like the snakes in Medusa's hair.
Ooh, that's good imagery.
Isn't it? That's the kind of powerful imagery that immediately conjures a scene in your mind, pulling you right into the story. The masterful blend of classic pirate adventure tropes with rich cultural folklore is also consistently highlighted as a strong point, creating a unique world for the reader.
It certainly sounds like it paints a very vivid picture and creates a truly immersive experience. Now, as with any piece of literature, not every aspect is universally perfect, right? What were some criticisms?
Fair point. Some specific criticisms did emerge from reviewers. Some felt that the climax, while exciting, was a bit too short and perhaps lacked sufficient detail, making some of the crucial action scenes feel a little hazy or underdeveloped.
Rushed, maybe.
Perhaps a bit rushed for some. Others noted that the overall pace, particularly in earlier sections, could feel a bit slow at times, especially for younger or more impatient readers.
And that feedback directly correlates to the book's recommendation for older, faster readers you mentioned.
Exactly. What's also incredibly intriguing from an educational standpoint, and a point worth discussing, is how Wolverton's novel playfully engages with the conventions of historical fiction.
How so?
It's meticulously set in 1599, a specific and fascinating period during the real age of discovery. But then you encounter deliberate anachronisms.
Things that don't quite fit the time period.
Precisely. Like the mention of the map mogul Rand McNally, a company that actually didn't even exist until the 19th century, nearly 250 years later.
That's such a fun detail. It actually makes for a fantastic teaching moment, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It can spark a really engaging discussion with readers, especially younger ones, about the subtle, or sometimes not so subtle ways authors blend historical fact with imaginative fiction.
Right. It serves as a playful reminder that even when a story feels incredibly real and grounded in history, the author might consciously take certain liberties for the sake of the narrative, to deepen a theme, or simply to add a whimsical touch.
Or maybe just an inside joke for the adults reading along.
Could be. It encourages critical engagement with the text and with history itself, prompting readers to ask deeper questions like, what elements here are historically accurate, and what has been skillfully crafted for the story? This not only enhances comprehension, but also sharpens critical thinking skills.
So the literary insight here.
The insight here is that Wolverton's narrative skillfully illustrates that the vanishing island in fiction isn't really about physical loss in the same way as Ile de Jean Charles. It's more a powerful metaphor for the internal maps we constantly redraw as we navigate uncertainty.
Finding our own way.
Exactly. Challenging us to find our own hidden treasures amidst the unknown. It adds another captivating layer to the adventure, making it a valuable exploration of both external journeys and internal growth.
Okay, so we've explored the Vanishing Island as a heart-wrenching real-world tragedy and as a thrilling imagined quest that sparks courage and curiosity. Now let's shift our perspective once more
Third time's the charm.
to something equally unique and undeniably captivating. A vanishing island that is, in essence, a fleeting natural wonder. We're heading to Bacacay, Albay, in the beautiful archipelago of the Philippines,
Ah, the Philippines' vanishing island.
home to the aptly named Vanishing Island.
This truly is a unique destination, and it perfectly embodies the ephemeral nature of certain landforms. It's essentially a pristine white sandbar that only reveals its stunning beauty at low tide, completely emerging from the waters.
And then?
Then, just as mysteriously, it disappears almost entirely at high tide, becoming submerged once again beneath the waves. It's a breathtaking natural phenomenon, a temporary oasis that captivates every single person lucky enough to visit it.
Imagine the feeling of stepping onto incredibly soft, pure white sands that, with absolute certainty won't even be there in a few short hours.
It must be quite something.
It's consistently described as incredibly beautiful, with crystal clear, almost unbelievably blue waters teeming with visible starfish just beneath the surface. And for an added, truly magnificent bonus, it offers absolutely stunning panoramic views of the majestic Mayon volcano in the background, a perfectly conical, active volcano that frames the entire scene.
The volcano view from a vanishing sandbar. That's incredible.
It's no wonder it's quickly become a highly coveted bucket list destination for travel enthusiasts worldwide.
It provides a very tangible, yet beautiful and cyclical experience of impermanence, which is a stark contrast to the tragic and permanent loss we discussed with Ile de Jean Charles.
A different kind of vanishing.
Completely. To truly experience this fleeting wonder, understanding the practical logistics is key. It's located about a 30-minute scenic drive from Legazpi City, and then requires an additional 45-minute boat ride from the Bacacay port, taking you across the tranquil waters.
So while it's a bit of a journey, the breathtaking destination clearly makes it worth every moment, and timing is absolutely everything here, right?
Crucial. The best, most ideal time to visit is typically before noon, when the tide is at its lowest, giving you ample time to explore and fully enjoy the emerging sandbar.
How long can you stay?
You can usually stay until around 2 or 3 p.m. before the island begins its slow, graceful submergence, so you definitely need to keep an eye on the tide.
Don't want to get stuck. What about getting there? Boat rentals.
Absolutely crucial practical advice for any visitor includes being aware of boat rental costs. Vessels, like the locally popular Sacred Heart, can range from PHP 2000 to PHP 3500 for the trip.
Okay, give us some context for that cost.
Sure, that's roughly $35 to $60 USD, depending on the current exchange rates. These boats are quite spacious, typically accommodating a good number of people, usually between 15 to 35, which makes it an ideal and cost-effective outing for groups or families.
That sounds like a wonderful shared experience, perfect for creating lasting memories. And while it's a pure natural wonder, are there any amenities? Shade? Snacks?
There are a few thoughtful amenities to make your visit comfortable. You can find floating cottages available for rent, providing a shaded respite right on the water.
Oh, floating cottage is nice.
There's even a small rustic sari store. That's essentially a local convenience store where you can grab some refreshments. However, a crucial tip is to always buy your own main food and plenty of water,
Why is that?
because there are no permanent restrooms on the sandbar itself.
Right.
Also, be prepared for a small entrance fee, perhaps around PHP 25 per person.
Less than $1 USD.
Right, which might be collected at some of the nearby islands before you reach Vanishing Island itself.
Okay, good tips. What's the experience like once you're there? Is it crowded?
The experience itself is often described by visitors as profoundly serene and surprisingly uncrowded, which is a massive bonus for such a popular tourist attraction.
That's rare these days.
It is. You can swim in the incredibly clear, inviting waters, enjoy peaceful beachcombing for unique shells, or even join in a friendly game of volleyball on the expansive white sands.
Volleyball on a vanishing island.
And the boat ride to and from the island is also part of the charm, offering truly scenic views of the coastline. and a refreshing ocean breeze that adds to the idyllic atmosphere as you approach this disappearing landmass.
It paints a picture of a truly idyllic, almost dreamlike escape. But there are a few important visitor considerations to keep in mind to ensure a smooth and safe trip.
Definitely.
You mentioned leaving by 3 p.m.
It's absolutely crucial to depart by 3 p.m. at the latest, to avoid the waters becoming too shallow for the boats to safely navigate. You definitely do not want to get stranded as the tide goes out, leaving your boat high and dry.
Yeah, that would put a damper on things.
Local boatmen are very experienced and will guide you, but it's good to be aware.
What about accessibility?
And accessibility is another key point, because reaching the island requires a boat trip and often involves wading through knee-deep water or climbing short ladders from the boat to get onto the sandbar itself.
Okay, so you got to be prepared to get your feet wet.
It might be less accessible for individuals with significant mobility issues or those who prefer not to get wet before reaching the destination. It's good to be prepared for that kind of adventurous entry as it's part of the unique experience.
What's really important here, and something that beautifully connects back to our earlier discussion on the profound issues facing Ile de Jean Charles, is the strong emphasis on sustainability and environmental awareness.
Absolutely critical for a place like this.
Visitors to Vanishing Island are not just gently advised, but strongly urged to respect the delicate environment. Specifically, you're asked not to take starfish or disturb any of the precious marine life that calls these clear waters home.
This isn't just a polite suggestion. It's absolutely vital for preserving the delicate ecosystem of the sandbar and its surrounding waters. It underscores a shared responsibility. Whether we're talking about the global existential threat of climate change or the localized impact of tourism,
Our actions matter.
our individual and collective actions have tangible effects. Understanding the inherently fleeting nature of this island makes it even more imperative to treat it with the utmost care and reverence.
So the insight here is different from the others.
The insight here is that Vanishing Island in Albay reminds us that impermanence isn't always tragic. It can be a beautiful, cyclical dance of nature that calls for mindful appreciation. It teaches us to value fleeting beauty and the temporary nature of our experiences, emphasizing presence over permanence.
Exactly. The clear, inviting waters, the pristine white sands, the uncrowded, serene atmosphere. It's a place of truly tranquil beauty that depends entirely on us as visitors to protect it. Just picturing yourself out there with the majestic Mayan volcano rising in the distance, knowing the very land beneath your feet is only there for a few precious hours. It truly creates a vivid virtual tour in your mind, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It makes the beauty even more precious, more mindful. This unique natural wonder is a powerful reminder that even places that are inherently impermanent can teach us a great deal about valuing and preserving natural beauty.
Echoing the larger environmental themes we discussed with Isle de Jean Charles.
But from a perspective of cyclical renewal rather than permanent loss, it's a compelling contrast.
So we've traveled from the very real and profoundly tragic disappearance of a community to a thrilling, imagined adventure set on the high seas, and now to a stunning, fleeting natural wonder that appears and vanishes with the rhythm of the tides.
Quite a journey.
What threads tie all these incredibly diverse narratives together, you might ask? It's the universal, inescapable concept of impermanence, particularly explored through the evocative lens of a vanishing island.
Indeed, whether that impermanence is tragically caused by the relentless, accelerating march of climate change and human impact.
Like Isle de Jean Charles.
The graceful, rhythmic ebb and flow of natural tidal cycles.
Like Alpe.
Or even the captivating allure of mythical lore surrounding phantom islands that once existed only on faulty maps.
Like in the novel, or real historical map errors.
The underlying theme is consistent. These stories, in all their forms, resonate with something deep within us about the fragile, transient nature of existence, of places, and of our own time here.
And it's crucial to remember that it's not just these three examples we've talked about. The phenomenon, or at least the concept of vanishing islands, has profound global relevance.
Absolutely. Think about other low-lying islands around the world, like the beautiful coral atolls in the Maldives, which are incredibly vulnerable to even slight increases in sea levels, posing an existential threat to entire nations.
An entire country potentially vanishing.
Or even closer to home for some, places like Hilton Head's Grenadier Shoal in South Carolina, which is another sandbar that's only exposed at low tide, very similar in its ephemeral nature to the vanishing island in Albay.
And Dauphin Island in Alabama faces significant erosion challenges too, right? Its shape is constantly changing.
It clearly illustrates that this concept, while uniquely manifested in each specific case, is far from isolated. However, it's also incredibly important to introduce a crucial nuance into this discussion.
Okay, what's the nuance?
Recent cutting-edge research has begun to challenge the blanket assumption that all low-lying islands will simply and inevitably vanish due to rising seas.
Really? That's hopeful.
It is, somewhat. Some studies, particularly those focusing on dynamic atolls, have shown surprising resilience. They've noted that certain islands can actually remain stable or even grow due to natural processes like sediment accretion.
Where sand and debris build up the land.
Exactly. Or through coral growth that builds up the land from below.
That's a fascinating and hopeful counterpoint to the more common narrative of inevitable loss. So it's not always a simple story of permanent disappearance.
Sometimes there's a natural resilience or adaptation at play, even if the islands still face other significant challenges like freshwater scarcity or population decline due to economic factors. It's complex.
And then there are the truly enigmatic vanishing islands, the phantom islands, which existed not in physical space, but on the maps of the imagination or through error.
Yes, the Phantom Islands add another layer to this captivating concept, blurring the lines between reality and myth. These were islands that were meticulously included on maps for centuries, sometimes appearing and disappearing across different editions.
Why? Just mistakes.
Due to navigational errors, misinterpretations of vague reports from sailors, or simply persistent myths. Sandy Island in the Coral Sea, for instance, was depicted on maps for over a decade and even appeared on Google Earth
On Google Earth. Wow.
before it was definitively undiscovered by Australian scientists in 2012.
Undiscovered. I like that.
Other famous phantom islands include Doherty Island, believed to be in the South Pacific, and Sannikov Land in the Arctic, both eventually proven non-existent. They're a powerful reminder of how easily belief, human error, and collective imagination can literally shape our understanding of geography and the world.
It's truly incredible how the idea of something simply disappearing, whether it's a community, a mythical land, or a sandbar, holds such a profound and enduring grip on the human imagination, isn't it?
It really does.
Whether it's the raw, undeniable power of nature, the inherent mystery of the unknown, or the deep, melancholic sense of fragility that comes with confronting impermanence, these vanishing islands, in all their diverse forms, undeniably captivate us. They tap into our deepest fears of loss and our grandest desires for discovery.
They absolutely do. They compel us to confront fundamental questions about our relationship with our changing environments, the very nature of discovery itself, and the enduring power of storytelling to make profound sense of a world where nothing, not even solid land, is truly permanent.
Which really makes you think.
It encourages us to think critically about the information we receive, the narratives we construct, and the responsibilities we bear in shaping the future of our planet. This raises an important question for you, the listener. As we grapple with these stories, how do we honor what is lost, preserve what remains, and imagine new futures for places that seem to disappear?
As we wrap up this deep dive, we've journeyed through the heartbreaking, real-world struggle of a community losing its ancestral home to the rising tides.
Île de Jean Charles.
Reveled in a thrilling fictional adventure that sparks courage and endless curiosity,
The novel by Barry Wolverton.
and marveled at the ephemeral beauty of a natural wonder that appears and disappeared with the ocean's gentle yet powerful breath.
The Vanishing Island in Ulbe.
All of these narratives are powerfully tied together by the evocative and universally resonant concept of a vanishing island.
Each story, whether rooted in stark fact or vibrant fantasy, reflects the intricate interplay between human life, the inexorable forces of nature, and the relentless march of time. They highlight not just the immense challenges we face, but also the enduring spirit of human resilience, the joy of discovery, and the profound, almost spiritual connection we all have to the places we call home, however fleeting or threatened they may be.
So as you go about your day, we want to leave you with this thought to mull over, something that builds on everything we've discussed. As we grapple with the inherent impermanence of our world,
Whether through climate change,
or the natural ebb and flow of the tides, or even the evolving maps of our understanding, how do we honor the memory and significance of what is lost?
And how do we make tangible efforts to preserve what precious remains?
And crucially, how do we collectively imagine and build new, resilient futures for places and peoples that seem destined to disappear?
Understanding these powerful stories in all their complexity and nuance truly empowers us to engage more deeply with our changing world, to recognize its profound vulnerabilities, and to appreciate the unique, often fleeting beauty of its ever-evolving landscapes.
It's a call to mindfulness, maybe action, and definitely imagination.
Well said.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.